Let's get to futures in focus. Oil erasing earlier gains, a diplomatic clash involving Saudi Arabia and Qatar was seen having a limited impact on the group's policy. Gold up to a 6-week high today on the US rate outlook. Haven demand today. Joining us from the CME to discuss this further, Chris Gersch, Director of Strategy at Bell Curve Capital. Chris, do investors not care about this Saudi-led alliance to cut diplomatic ties with Qatar?
Well, apparently not. We had a huge sell-off on high volume. We were up 1.6%, and a little infighting between the in-laws. We're expected to actually finally move that momentum to the higher side for crude, but we quickly sold off right after the beginning of European trade session. The futures making a series of higher lows. Lower lows and lower highs throughout the morning. It's continued to sell off with no really switch to the upside. That's really carrying forward. The bears are in full effect right now in the oil futures.
What are the key resistance levels to the downside, Chris?
Resistance really to the downside. We have a pivot point at 46.26 and another one at 45.90. Other than that, and the bids aren't really stacked right there. I think we might test those 44.13 lows. And again, this infighting, it's 57-year organization, OPEC. We've seen compliance despite wars like Iran and Iraq in the 80s. We had Kuwait and Iraq in the 90s, Yemen. But everyone really knows where their bread is buttered, so to speak. So we expect this infighting really not to have any effect and the momentum to stay lower.
What about gold, Chris? 6-week highs. How do we play gold going into the Fed meeting next week?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you used to be able to play gold in inverse to that strength in the dollar. We had strength in the dollar this year, but also a 10% recovery in gold, 4% up higher, just in the last 30 days. I really believe that long term, I think you're going to see gold hovering right here. After that rate hike, if we do have any sort of pullback and dollar weakening, I think that you're going to see gold return above 1,300, that key resistance it couldn't get above 2 months ago.
I've got a chart later, Chris, in my Battle of the Charts, which is going to show a call by Metals Focus. And a guy there, the co-founder, says gold's going to go to $1,400 by the end of the year because the Fed isn't going to be as hawkish. That's his view. Can you see gold at $1,400? We haven't been there for 4 years.
You know, I do believe gold does go higher. You risk off assets. You look at the yields at historic lows despite record-breaking, stock markets, and that's been a theme going throughout. You see Bitcoin at all-time highs. You see all these risk-off assets, and I think gold is lagging just because of that dollar strength. So 1,400 is not out of the question. We have a target of 1,340 to 1,360 by end of year.